I wanted to do a short quick video, it being Thanksgiving, and do something a little bit different. I wanted to do a top 10 list of 10 things I am grateful for when it comes to guns and firearms and accessories and such. So here we go. Number 10. Having the ability and being able to cast my own bullets, to reload my own ammo, and have that freedom to make whatever I want with whatever I want when it comes to ammo. A lot of you remember during the Obama crunch where I live, you couldn't find 30 cal bullets, you couldn't find powders, a lot of reloading stuff, and you kind of had to get creative with whatever powders they had in the stores that you could find. And so I am grateful to have fully stocked shelves at the stores and in my own home with primers, powders, and all sorts of stuff. We really live in a good time where you can, if you know how to cast your own bullets, if you know how to reload, man, you are set. There's so many supplies available right now, and if you cast your own and reload, you can make whatever you need. Number 9, I'm grateful for Starline Brass and other companies that make all the little oddball calibers. Well, they make the brass and the things to reload for the oddball calibers that you just can't find in the stores. For example, 50 Alaskan, 458 SOCOM you can kind of find here and there, but 50 Alaskan, 458 SOCOM, 277 Wolverine, 10mm Magnum brass that Starline makes, and I actually convert that into 338 Spectre. I also have some Starline brass. I don't think they sell it in their store, but it's straight wall 458 SOCOM brass, and I use that for my 500 SOCOM. It's just like a 50 Beowulf with a straight wall 458 SOCOM case. And as well as the common stuff, or more common stuff like 10mm revolver cartridges like 357, 44 mag, all that kind of stuff. I'm grateful for Starline Brass for making good high quality brass that we can use, and for all the other companies that make stuff that we can reload and make our own ammo with that's high quality. Number 8, all the smokeless powders that are out there. I'm grateful for so many options. We have stuff like Trail Boss to make bunny fart loads. We have 4350 for, 6.5 Creedmoor, and they keep coming out with newer and better powders, and newer powders for specific cartridges that are new. So I'm grateful for smokeless powders. Now, a while back, I had the opportunity to go with a buddy, an older fellow who has a very awesome World War II, World War I battle rifle collection, and we got to shoot some old ammo made with the cordite. And for those of you who don't know what cordite is, it's like kind of like strings of powder instead of like flakes of powder. And man, that was kind of interesting experience shooting, because it was like a hang fire almost every time, but you never knew how long of a hang fire it'd be, so you'd pull the trigger. Sometimes it'd go off immediately, sometimes it is boom. So anyways, I'm grateful for smokeless powder, and I'm also grateful I don't have to use black powder for everything. Imagine using black powder in a Glock and having to, when you go take your shower after shooting, you take the Glock and throw it on a rope around your neck and scrub that too with the soap and water. But yeah, smokeless powders, awesome. Number 7, silencers. I love them. I recently took a group of women shooting, and we had this awesome women's range day, and there were several new shooters in the group, and it was awesome to have silencers. And so for the first hour or so, we had all these break action 300 blackouts and some 22s and 9mm AR15 carbines, all suppressed with silencers. And that was awesome because we didn't have to have hearing protection on, so we could talk with a normal voice and explain, give instruction, and that sort of stuff. So silencers, man, once you get one, it's hard to not buy another and another and another. So for those of you who are able to own silencers in your states, I highly recommend it. Silencers are awesome. Number 6, inexpensive and highly available AR15 parts. Man, I'm so grateful for those. I recently just helped a group of boys, my son and a couple other guys, put together an AR-10 and an AR-15. And it was awesome to be able to have the plenitude of parts available and for really good prices. If you think back not too long ago, I mean, I guess back in the Obama times, then AR-15 parts and prices were high and the availability was low. And I'm just grateful that the availability is high and the prices are low, and you can kind of pretty much buy whatever you want. And anyways, I highly recommend picking up a couple extra lowers and uppers and save it for a rainy day. Number 5, great optics at great prices and great availability and great technology. So man, optics have sure come a long ways in the last even say 20 years. And if you think about what we used to have then and then what we have now, and the fact that I just bought a couple of those Vortex optics, they're the Razer AMG UH1s, and I was able to find some of those on clearance for about 325 bucks. And the quality of that optic, even though it's pretty heavy, I acknowledge that they're bulky and heavy, but man, the glass is good, and the technology that goes into it, being a holographic sight, those are awesome. I wish I could put those on like every one of my non-magnified carbines. But yeah, there's so many options out there right now. SIG makes some Romeo red dots that are really good and really cheap, and they're just so many options, and the technology is so great. And I mean, I have an optic on my handgun now, my Glock 34. I have a Trijicon RMR Generation 2, and that thing is pretty awesome. So I love all the optics and availability, and the prices are great. Number 4, I'm so grateful for the casting and reloading community, well, communities that we have. We have the reloadersnetwork.com, we have the YouTube crowd, we have all these groups, Facebook groups included, and all of those places you don't have to look very hard to find some very helpful people who are willing to take their time to explain things and help you. And overall, I mean, the trolls are very few and far in between in our reloading and casting communities, and there's a lot of helpful people, and I'm grateful for them. Number 3, I'm grateful for the family and friends who are my shooting buddies, and well, the people who are willing to go shooting with me. I just love it when my kids want to go shooting and they take the time to go shooting with me and my wife and all my shooting buddies. It's fun to go shooting, but it seems like it's always funner when you have a buddy or family to go with you. And it's also safer. It's always safer to go shooting with more than just by yourself. So I'm grateful for those who go shooting with me and help me out with when I put on shooting events, taking the youth shooting and the women's group shooting and etc. So I'm grateful for you guys. Thanks. Number 2, I'm grateful for big bullets and big guns that shoot those bullets. I've always been a fan of big bore calibers and the guns that shoot them. It's cool that in this day and age we have so many cool options. I've got a 50 Alaskan, 45-70, 44 mag, 50 Beowulf, and recently I was able to pick up a 50 BMG to add to the collection, and I got to take that to a shooting activity with some friends, and it was just awesome to be able to shoot that in 50 cal. I don't think I've ever seen anyone fire a 50 BMG that didn't smile right after. Number 1, one of the most important things that we have that we gotta always fight to protect and preserve is the Second Amendment. I'm so grateful for the Second Amendment, and I know that a lot of people around the world probably wish that they had a Second Amendment in their country or similar, which gave them gun rights, or actually which preserved their God-given rights to self-preservation, self-protection, and such, and protection from a tyrannical government. And if you think about the people in Mexico, they have had their guns confiscated, so now only the police and some of those are corrupt, and the cartels have the guns. So only the bad people have the guns, and people can't protect themselves. I'm sure the Mexicans would love to have a Second Amendment in their country. Or if you look at Venezuela and the people fighting back against a tyrannical dictator, I'm sure those Venezuelans wish that they had a Second Amendment to preserve their rights to own guns and to be able to fight back against an oppressive regime. And I'm sure that the people in Hong Kong wish that they had some type of a Second Amendment to help them fight for their rights and freedoms. And in this time of Thanksgiving, I hope we all remember some of the things that we're grateful for. And I know that, you know, guns are just a small part of our lives, maybe larger for other people, but other things like our families and our freedoms and those blessings that we have, we remember to give thanks during this time. But I hope we don't forget about the freedoms that we have, and for the Second Amendment, and to remember that we always have to be vigilant in protecting and fighting for those freedoms and rights. Anyways, I hope you had a good Thanksgiving, and I hope you have a good rest of your Thanksgiving, and enjoy the time with your families and with some good food. Talk to you later.